Hi, welcome back YouTube. For today I am going to be making another spell bag for my car for safe travels and for protection while I am driving and traveling. I had one in there before that I would have hanging from my rearview mirror. It was actually the same one I had in this little bag here, but I have emptied its contents out into a little cauldron here because I felt the energy from it kind of leave, and it's not really surprising to me. I made this bag quite a while ago, so I've been meaning to remake it and kind of add some new stuff because I've grown a bit in my knowledge of magic since when I originally made this bag. And I wanted to see kind of what maybe I would change up, because I don't always do my spells exactly the same as I would the first time. So for instance, the first time I made this, I used, you can see in here, a lot of chamomile. This time, I won't actually be using any chamomile. It doesn't really call to me right now. Instead, I have a lot of different things that I didn't even have at the time that I will be putting in here. So I've already cleansed this, but I think I'm going to cleanse the bag a little bit more. Alright. Also to this little bag I've added this little black, it's one of those little elastic cords, kind of like what you would find on an air freshener for your car. And the reason I've got that there is because it makes it so much easier to hang from the rearview mirror and to, get on and off when I need it, than if I just try and tie these to another string and tie it all around, which just causes a whole bunch of knots and mess. For me at least. So, first, getting started with this, I am going to add a little bit of sage. And the sage is because, for one, sage is cleansing, and I do want the energy that may come over me while driving, whether it's road rage or, just someone driving around me or in the car with me is just negative, and this way the sage will just kind of cleanse that energy off of me and out of my vehicle and out of my space, so that that negative energy won't affect my driving or distract me in any way. So next I'll be adding a little bit of lavender. Lavender is for that protective quality as well as that peacefulness and serenity, that calm energy which I want to have while driving. I don't want to be in a bad mood. I don't think anyone really wants to be in a bad mood. So add a little bit of that in there. And I don't really have any measurements with this. I'm just kind of going off feels. for instance, I think I want to add a little bit more sage. And so I will. Alright, so now what I'm going to add in here is some mugwort, and if you see the label, this came from Mountain Rose Herbs. This is where I actually get the majority of my herbs when I buy them in bulk. Some of them I just acquire at, when I'm walking through a grocery store and just feel like I need something, and others I've actually just collected from growing around or that I've grown myself. And the mugwort I'm using is also for that protective energy. And I'm not going to add very much of that. The mugwort is protective, but also it really helps in connecting with your psychic and intuition. So that is also something that plays a big role, believe it or not, in driving, is having strong intuition will help keep you safe when you're driving, because, just logically, if you're intuitive and you can intuitively and psychically kind of predict other people's actions and what they're going to do, and helping be aware of this, it'll help you in turn react and prepare to react for them. Whether someone's going to cut over into your lane or is gonna slam on the brakes and take a really sharp turn all of a sudden, having that strong link to your intuition, your psychic abilities will help you kind of see it coming, and that is something I definitely want to keep going, and so that's why I'm adding the mugwort. Also, I will be adding some rosebuds. If you couldn't tell, I really like roses. So I'm going to be adding 3 rosebuds. Oops. And that is for protection as well. But also, the roses to me represent love, and to me, I'm a Cancerian, and I'm just all about that love. And so this is love for myself, and taking care to make sure both myself and anyone in the vehicle with me or anything is protected, and that I do want them to be safe, so that I will keep them safe. I don't really know exactly how I worded that, or if that even made sense, but that's kind of what I'm feeling, so we're going with it. And of course, I'm going to add a star anise. Which, if you've never used star anise, it smells very much like black licorice, which personally I don't like to taste black licorice, but the smell is actually something I like. I'll be adding one of those in there. That is also for protection and intuition and things. Let's see, what am I feeling next? So I think next I'm going to add just a little bit of some frankincense resin. That is for cleansing and protection as well. Just a little bit. I think I have like 3 pieces there. I love the number 3. Wasn't even trying to grab 3. Worked out great. So, I think I forgot to say in the beginning, with every herb that an ingredient that I'm putting in, there is that reasoning behind it and that enchanting that does go in with it. I know some people do like to enchant every single item, and sometimes I do that as well as they go in. But in this case, I've kind of already got the energy going in my little space here. So this is for safe travels and safe driving and, you know, protection while driving and traveling. So that is the energy going on in my space, and I will of course be enchanting this all together in the end, but this is one thing I just don't feel I need to necessarily enchant every single item that goes in it at each time, just because I'm going to make sure I cover that well before I actually go to put it in my cart anyway. Next, I will be adding some Calamus root. And the Calamus root is also for protection, but also it's Calamus has kind of a commanding energy about it, so you can use it a lot in like commanding spells. This is actually one of the ingredients that I would use in a bend over oil, which is for, if you haven't ever heard of or used a bend over oil, it's for bending people or spirits to your will. So there's that, which I'm not going to judge you if you use that oil, and, you know, do whatever, but I always do say be cautious and at least accept what responsibility for what you do. Next, I am going to add a little bit of some cherry pipe tobacco, which also smells really good. Very nice. I'm just going to add a little bit of that. And the pipe tobacco, I'm actually going to add a little bit more. The cherry pipe tobacco, it doesn't have to be cherry. Cherry is just what I have on hand because I like the way it smells. The tobacco is for cleansing. I like using it for cleansing, especially when I feel sage isn't getting everything done the way I need it to. So that's also in there for that energy-wise, is for that cleansing kind of with the sage, to definitely make sure any negative energy that would be projected towards me or my vehicle or my own driving or while I am driving is cleansed away, so it is not to affect my driving negatively. And of course, I will add a little piece of Mandrake for protection. And if you have never heard of or used Mandrake before, it is poisonous, so I wouldn't suggest ingesting it. I'm gonna put that in there. Mandrake is very powerful, and I like the energy from it. However, I also would suggest being cautious to where if you're handling the Mandrake, to wash your hands afterwards. Don't just go touching your eyes and mouth and everything, because it can make you sick. Just a little bit of it would probably only make you a little sick, but still, you know, better safe than sorry. And now I will be adding some cinnamon. No. Little cinnamon stick. And the cinnamon is also for that protection and that fiery energy that I just definitely want. Now, I will be adding, and if you watched my last video on my self-love oil, I believe in that one I said how much I love rosemary, and so you'll probably see a lot of it. And so I'm going to be adding some rosemary. And this is rosemary that I actually grew myself. You could use store-bought rosemary. I don't think that would really affect it any differently. Just for me, this rosemary in particular, is because I grew it myself and it was really thriving before a storm came, and unfortunately I wasn't able to save it in time. But because I grew it myself, it kind of is more special to me. So it's also like having something that, you know, I helped grow and I helped put my energy into keeping that with me even when I'm traveling. And the rosemary is, of course, for the protection, for healing, for cleansing, for blessing. Rosemary is basically good for like everything from what I found. So I really love it. That's one of the reasons why I love it so much. And then for herb wise, the last thing I'm going to be adding is some coffee beans. And the coffee beans are for, one, I am a coffee freak. I love coffee. If you ever meet me, you will learn very quickly I love coffee. So that's one reason it's going in there, and I usually always have coffee with me, or I'm usually always driving to go get coffee at some point. Love me some Starbucks. But the coffee is also for that alertness and staying awake and aware. And I have here 9 coffee beans. I'm telling you right now, just with the herbs in this, it's smelling pretty good. I'm liking it. Now, I'm also going to add a piece of black tourmaline. This is a little piece that I got actually from the shop that I work at, which is called Magic Craft. And I really like some tourmaline. See if I can get that in there. There we go. That's as good as it's going to get there. And yes, so what I was saying, I got this from the shop that I work at, which is Magic Craft Unique Shop, and that is MAGIKCRAFT, Magic Craft, and that's one word. And we are located at 1916 Perry Street, Durham, North Carolina, if you ever want to come check us out. The owners, Lynn and Tom, are incredible, and whether I'm working there or any of the other employees, it's all magical. So definitely come check us out if you get the chance. Just adding a little bit of black tourmaline in there for protection, for grounding the energy while I'm in my vehicle and traveling, and repelling the negative energy again that may be coming towards me or directed in my way. So now something else I'm going to do, which I don't always do this part, is I'm going to add some oils to this, just so not only will I have the magic of the plants and things and the herbs and the crystals, but also the energy from actually the fragrance, like aromatherapy. And I'm not going to add much. I don't need to. It's perfectly fine on its own. So I'm going to add a drop of clove oil. A drop of rosemary. Drop of lavender, and a drop of rose. And then that smells incredible. And while I'm thinking of this, because I've added the clove oil, I think I also want to add a few cloves, and I wasn't sure if I did or not, but I did luckily bring them in here with me. And let's see. Going to be adding 9 whole cloves. And I don't think it would really matter whether you're using whole or ground cloves. I'm just using the whole because this is a little organza bag and the material is thin, and the powder would probably sprinkle all over my car. And I really don't want to have to clean that up. So we're using whole. So this smells incredible, and now I'm going to enchant this, and then I'll see if that's everything I'm going to do when we get there. So, at least for the purpose of this video, I think the enchanting is pretty good there. I'm really liking the energy and the feel and the aroma of this. I think I actually really like the way I've done it this time, even more so than the original way that I did it. So, something else to keep in mind, don't always get so set on one specific way that you're unwilling to try a new way, because you may find that with a little bit of time and some more knowledge being acquired and you learning, that you may find some other things that would really work out even better and connect with you more in your magic. But I think this is going to be good for right now. I may enchant it a little bit more later on. And I of course like to add some energy into it every now and then when I'm in my car and everything. So sometimes when I'm just parked and waiting or eating, I'll just stop and take a minute to charge this with a little bit more energy and give it some little love and care, you know. And also, out of complete cuteness, I have this little itty bitty cinnamon broom. It looks so cute hanging from my mirror that I will probably be hanging with this. And my reasoning behind the broom is actually for the way of the besom, in a way, to actually sweep away any negative energy or anything that doesn't benefit me. And just to sweep that energy away and to keep my space in my car and my vehicle cleansed and pure and blessed, so it's not a bunch of funky, odd energy that, you know, I can't stand. So, yeah. Well, that is all for this video. I may still be going off and doing another one today, I'm not sure, but either way, I hope you have an amazing day and that you constantly keep growing and learning in the craft and in your knowledge, and I hope to as well. And yeah, blessed be.